Okay, let's try the next trigonometry question. If you know your stuff, this is one of the easiest questions to get lots of marks in if you know your stuff and you've learned how it all works. When you see this 90 degrees, like the sine of 90 minus an angle, you have to know the idea of cofunctions. And if you have like the sine of 60, it equals the cosine of 90 minus 60. But when you see this, the sine of 90 minus, you just switch it to make it cosine. That's the first quadrant, 90 minus x. So the answer is cosine x, and it's a real easy mark. Now 180 degrees plus x, what are you doing here? Well, there's 180 degrees, and plus x puts you in the third quadrant. Sine is negative there, so it's just the reference angle's x, so you write sine x, but it's negative there, because sine's negative down here, 180 minus x. Now the tangent of 360 minus x, 360 and negative x puts you in this quadrant. Tangent is negative down there, that's why you write minus tan x. And the last one, sine of minus x, you're in that quadrant. Tangent's, a sine is negative down there. That's why it's minus sine x. Well, anything divided by itself cancels. Tangent is sine over cos. You get a mark just for replacing tan with sine over cos. Now the coses cancel, and your final answer there is just minus sine x. That's a good way to get 6 marks, just by learning the basic thing of going where it is. All of these general ones, the answer is just x, x, x. That's the reference angle. You don't have to work it out in your head with numbers and different stuff. It's just x. It's just a matter of, is it negative or positive? Let's look at the next question, 3.3. Now, people find these a little harder, but it's basically just factoring and using the basic identities, and using your idea of fractions and canceling and stuff. We're going to start with the left-hand side. And the first thing, cosine and cosines in both of these things. So I looked right away, and I better factor cosine times 1 minus cosine. Now, for this to be cosine up here, this 1 minus cosine must cancel. So I'm just going to leave it, because I've got the cosine already making it looking like the right-hand side. Now, you see this tangent? It equals sine over cosine. Just replace it, and you get a mark. Now those cos, multiplying by cos and dividing by cos, it cancels, and you get sine squared. Now I'm thinking, what do I do now? Well, it's 1 minus, what is sine squared? Oh, it's 1 minus cos squared. I'm almost there. There's 1 minus cos squared. Well, 1 minus cos squared, if you know what 1 minus b squared is, it's 1 minus b times 1 minus b times 1 plus b. And that's really great, because now the 1 minus cos theta will cancel, and wow, we're left with our right-hand side now. Cos theta over 1 plus cos theta. So a little bit tricky. I had to factor out here, seeing, oh, I'm off to a good start. I had to replace tan with sine over cosine, and the cosines cancel. Sine times sine is sine squared. Sine squared is 1 minus cos squared, and this is a difference of squares. 1 minus cos, 1 minus cos, 1 plus cos. And that cancels, and I got my answer.